Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Narvik, Hitler's First Defeat, or its original title, Kampen or Narvik. Are you a war film buff? Do you love you some war films? It's something that gets your blood boiling. You're like, yeah, give me some action, man, with those war scenes.
There must be war. God wills it!
Or do you just like the drama within the story with character driven? I am more in character driven. I like the action when it's necessary. That's the sort of story that I want. Is this that? Let's talk about it. April 1940, the eyes of the world are on Narvik, a small town in northern Norway, source of the iron ore needed for Hitler's war machinery. So this is one of those stories that you don't often hear of. You don't often hear of the stories of the people caught in between the war. And so here we have the English fighting the Germans and Germans fighting the English, and the Germans need that ore, and so they're fighting for their place. And in between is Norway, where we have this neutrality people, and they are forced into not being neutral. And then we have the people inside of that are not like part of the army, just people working at a hotel. And this is where our story kind of concentrates on one particular family. We have a young man who's married, his wife works at this hotel. She has a son, and he goes to defend Norway and basically obeys orders. We see how this family is torn apart. So though it is about a bigger thing, the story concentrates on the family, and I think that helps make it really personal, which is why I was invested very quickly, because the film starts with getting you to like the family and then kind of throws all the war stuff at them, and so you are rooting for them. There was a moment at the end of the film I almost shouted at the screen going, "Don't you dare end it like that," because I was fully invested into this family. Now let me just say, I think depending on which culture you're from or where you were born, you'll have different feelings from this. Because I was born in South Africa, I feel like I can come from it from a different perspective, an outside perspective, and look at it. And what this film does, it tries to do that. It's an outside perspective showing what people had to go through from whatever side you're from. You're sometimes forced into positions that you don't want to be in order to keep your family alive. And sometimes you do things that you don't want to do to keep your son alive, to keep your wife alive, to keep yourself alive. What do you do? But then it comes down to, what do you stand for? What are your morals? What does it mean? How far are you willing to take those orders? Will you go against orders? When is it right to go against orders? All of that comes into play and kind of shines a light on it in what I think is a fairly well, decently made film. The cinematography with the the landscapes of Norway, the mountains in the background, when we're getting those really ice cold vistas, it lends itself to you feeling very cold. It helps that it's like -5 here in the UK at the moment. Ice on the cars and very hard to start your cars in the morning. So I'm getting a little bit of the feeling like 4D cinema. I feel cold. And the film is showing me how cold it was. Fighting war in the contrast with blood and uniforms, all of that with the contrast of the mountains. Very beautifully filmed, but also those escapes help to kind of put you in there in the moment. A little bit of shaky camera at times, but very well filmed, putting you in the action as well. And when you get the action, I thought it was filmed really well. It places you in the zone, places you in the moment. The actions is good. It's not like a Hollywood action. It feels more gritty, more real. And so I liked it, but I liked the action because I was invested in the characters. Now, I'm not saying this is like the best war film I've ever seen. I just really like the idea of this story. One of the best war films I've seen recently is All Quiet on the Western Front, but that's because it was, again, personal. So when you have a war film, a large topic, if you make it personal, which this film endeavors to do, then you are invested, and so everything else is like an added cherry. I think it runs its course pretty well. It's just under 2 hours. There is some violence, and it does make you question and brings up questions as you're watching it, like what would you do in that circumstance? Where would you go? Who would you trust? Who would you root for? Who would you betray? All of those come in. I thought the acting was pretty good from our main protagonists. Christine Hardigan, who plays Ingrid Toft, the wife, is left to be the worker, the mother, the wife longing for her husband, but also the protector, and then is placed in a zone that is really a difficult place to be placed in. And I thought showing that in contrast to where the husband is, what he's going through, was a really nice way to do it. So when it comes full circle, you're invested in both sides of that story. Really interesting, I would say fun in a dark way. Wasn't as harrowing as I expected it to be, because I've seen other war films that are much heavier. But this tells a story that I hadn't heard before. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. I'm going to give this 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
And you got one. Congratulations.
I think it's definitely worth a one-time watch. Not the best war film I've ever seen, but it didn't need it to be. So as a Brit now, it made me have a few different feelings, but definitely worth watching. Thanks so much for supporting the Ruby Tuesday. If you like what we do here, please do like and subscribe. It really does help. You know, hit that notification bell. I hate asking for that, but every now and again I do kind of have to. I put a lot of work and effort to make these reviews entertaining.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Informative, worth your watching, so you know what you're going into. If you want to check out our Patreon, do that. We have exclusive content, reviews, news, entertainment, all on that with Movies and Munchies, so check out his channel as well. We have a podcast weekly as well called The Best Thing We Watched That Week, again with Movies and Munchies. We do that weekly, so you can check out all our content. You won't miss out anything. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below.
What I mean to say is that I have feelings for you, and it's pissing me off.
Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.